What it is, everybody. Welcome to another day, one day closer to the end, one day closer to the end every single time. And I think we're almost there. The gold price certainly is indicating something like that. So hopefully you bought gold. And when I said to you a few episodes ago, if you did, just since that episode, you have more wealth. You have at least 10% more, I think. It's going crazy today. But that's not the big news. Well, I don't know. That is the big news to me. We'll be looking at some charts probably today. It is close to the apocalypse. We are venturing one step closer every single day to something like the apocalypse, at least the replacement of money as we know it. So I hope you are prepared for that. I don't know if I'm prepared. I don't have the food. I don't have the water. Well, maybe I have some water. I have a few cases of Pellegrino, if that's what you're supposed to do. But I don't have the storable food yet. You need to be prepared for a complete breakdown. And we might be going to war. Now, for real. Somebody said not to do doomer titles or something like that because I said we might be going to war with Iran the other day. Does seem like we're about to go to war with Iran, I should say. So I'll show you the latest on that. Also, the big news regarding the shooting of Alex Pretti is he was a violent protester. So we're going to admit that. We said he didn't deserve to die and that he was being peaceful at the time he was assassinated or executed, I should say. But in the past, he had been a violent protester, and now there's video to prove it. So 1 inch closer to civil war for sure. I don't want my stupid name on the screen. I forget how to change that. Why is my stupid name on the stupid screen? I can go to settings and get rid of that. Visual effects. General. Show resolution. No. Camera. No. Visual effects. No. I'll fix it later, I guess. Sorry you have to see my name. My name is Nathan. I'm a gift. So anyway, big news today. Running through the stories. What's the most important? The end of money as we know it. It's accelerating. Yesterday on the title screen, it said gold was at $51.85. Now it's at over $5,500 per ounce. It was up the most it's ever gone up in a single day, certainly in dollar amounts. It's something extraordinary that's happening. It happened first with silver. Now it's happening with gold. And we've been talking about it on this show, actually, since the very beginning of this show, when we first started broadcasting. We said your dollars will have no value. And that's the point of your dollars. So we're seeing that happen in real time, and it seems to be accelerating. So I'm going to show you some clips about people talking about the end. We may be due for a complete financial crisis very soon. The stock market is as overvalued as it's ever been. So if the stock market crashes, then people are going to stop spending money and it'll just be all over. So how close are we to that happening? We will discuss. Someone says the video is AI. I don't think it's AI. So we'll show you the video of Alex Pretti being a violent protester, not a nice protester, not a nice observer, just so that you see it and show that we are an unbiased news source that shows you all of the news. That was released today in the news today. So that helps change the narrative. But we'll talk about it. Iran, we're making demands. It might be a 24-hour demand. It seems like we're making demands on behalf of Israel. We want them to get rid of their nuclear program and their ballistic missiles, which they're not going to accept. And we have everything thing in place now, which we didn't have in place before when we were going to strike before. So we will give you the update on the news about that today. We will give you updates about Ilhan Omar being attacked on stage. Kind of. She was attacked with an innocuous substance. I won't tell you right now what the substance was, but she was attacked with a syringe of some sort. Donald Trump says it was probably fake. Somebody else says she brought it on herself. We don't like, we will play you some clips that show that we are getting closer to civil war. These are all of the things which is what is supposed to happen in the end times. Stage 6. And it all goes back to money, actually. We're in the stage now for revolutions, civil wars, wars outside. So it looks like we're going to war with Iran. They say they're going to wreck us. So I'm going to show you all of that. Melania's movie is coming out. And Nicki Minaj was hanging out with Trump today. I won't play you that thing of Nicki Minaj with Trump. The Trump family is not in the most popular place right now with the American people. It looks like Melania's movie is going to completely bomb, and Trump is going to be unhappy about that. So she opened up the stock exchange today. I'll show you that. But the reviews are in, and they're not flattering for Melania Trump, Miss Trump, who I don't mind. You know, she seems like a reasonable person, but people are calling her names and stuff. What else do I have in there? Iran, gold. You guys will have to tell me if I should buy some silver tomorrow. Ilhan Omar, civil war, Iran, etc. Okay, yeah, that's what I have for you guys. That's going to be your news story for today. As always, we will check into with the chat and have an engaging conversation with you guys. So thanks for joining me today. It's going to be a good one, and let's get going. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman, and I bring you the news, the real news. All right, I gave you guys that a little early. You heard it during the intro, too. There you go. Melania rang the bell. The movie's going to flop. They're not selling any tickets. I'll show you that. All right, here we're going to hear some people talking about money real quick.
And obviously, we wouldn't want to be owning anything that we thought was in a currency that was really going to hell. And that's the big thing we worry about with the United States currency. I mean, the tendency of a government to want to debase its currency over time there's no system that beats that. You can pick dictators, you can pick representatives, you can do anything. But the people, there will be a push toward weaker currencies. And of course, that is, I mentioned very briefly in the annual report that the fiscal policy is what scares me in the United States, because it's made the way it is. And all the motivations started doing a lot of things that can cause trouble with money. But that's not limited to the United States. It's all over the world, and some places it gets out of control regularly. As they know, they devalue at rates that are breathtaking, and that's continued. I mean, and people can study economics and you can have all kinds of arrangements, but in the end, if you've got people that control the currency, you can issue paper money, and you will, or you can engage in clipping currencies like they used to do centuries ago. Or there will always be people. It's the nature of their job. I'm not singling them out as particularly evil or anything like that. But the natural course of government is to make the currency worth less over time, and that's got important consequences. And it's very hard to build checks and balances into the system to keep that from happening.
When we look at the prices of things through the lens of the value of money, they go up, okay? Because the value of money goes down. When the value of money goes down, it goes up. So it's very interesting to me when you see like people looking at things. Think about it that the currency that you're looking through, I'm sure there are a bunch of different currencies and countries that you're in. If you were in Switzerland and you're looking at the returns of American stocks and bonds, it would look very different than if you were an American looking through a dollar lens and so on, because of the magnitudes of movements. So for example, last year, American markets significantly underperformed foreign markets, and people don't quite realize that. And the best asset class in a sense was gold, but think of that as being the money. So in answer to your question, okay, I've learned, that was a lesson I learned, that if there's a depreciation in the value of money, it makes everything look like it's going up and so on. And there's also a stimulation that comes from that.
That's correct. We're giving you guys everything today. Hold on. One more.
And the world is now pulling the rug out from under the U.S. The dollar is going to collapse. The dollar is going to be replaced by gold. Central banks are buying gold to back up their currencies. True. They're getting rid of dollars. They're getting rid of treasuries. We are headed for an economic crisis, again, that will make the 2008 financial crisis look like a Sunday school picnic. The biggest difference between the crisis that we're about to have and the one we had back then is this one is all in America. It's not going to be exported to the rest of the world. It's not a global financial crisis. It's an American financial crisis. And the world is now pulling the rug.
That's your education to start the day. We had Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, and Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff says it's only going to be in America. I don't think that's true. I think it will be worldwide. Let me see what I can do here. Where is this? Media style. That's where I get rid of it. Boom. Got rid of it. Stupid name. Okay, and we'll show your comments on stage. I saw somebody already say this video I'm going to show you is AI. That's possible. Hopefully you guys have seen the Ilhan Omar attack. We'll show you that. She actually was pretty based. I'll show you that. If you want to support the show. Oh, that's not scrolling. Why does this stuff reset all the time? If you want to support the show with a tip, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. You can leave coffees there and leave a note, and I will read them before the end of every show, and we appreciate it. That helps us actually buy real coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. You can also buy t-shirts by going to our store at Truth Revolution Clothing. That's truthclothing.io. You've probably all seen the ad. We have wonderful t-shirt designs, very high quality t-shirts that are screen printed for $5 and $10 on liquidation, closeout, going out of business sale until they're all sold out. We have Bitcoin shirts, crypto shirts that are cheap. We have, or inexpensive, I should say, at wholesale prices. We have female designs. We have question everything designs and several styles. We have a lift the veil style in the female style for $5, $10, $5, $20, inexpensive, high quality t-shirts that you can wear every single day. And you can wash them and they will last a long time. They are very nice shirts that you can buy at wholesale prices right now by going to Truth Revolution Clothing. That's at truthclothing.io. If you're ever wondering, those grifting links are at the bottom of the screen, the entire show scrolling across. Okay. So what do you guys think? Okay. So gold is up. We've been saying it's the end of the world. It looks like gold is replacing dollars. I'll show you guys different. It looks like gold is actually going to become money again. So that's why I told everybody that I sold all my Bitcoin and turned it into gold, turned it into virtual gold, crypto gold. That is what will happen. We have the creation of tokenized everything now because of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency has managed to create tokenized digital dollars and tokenized digital gold. And eventually there will be tokenized digital real estate and tokenized digital everything else. The word on the street, which I'm going to show you, is that a central bank somewhere will compete with the things we've been using as currency with some kind of tokenized gold. I told you guys the one I buy is called PAXG. It's on the Ethereum blockchain. It represents a claim on physical gold, which you can audit, and it can be transferred in small digits the same way Bitcoin can, the same way Ethereum can. So it already has been created. It already exists. That's what I have primarily for my savings at this time, because I know that we are in volatile times. I think the stock market's going to crash, and Bitcoin obviously hasn't fulfilled its role as a safe haven from the reckless spending habits of the government. Bitcoin may still succeed. It may, but so far it's not. So PAXG is what I have, and I might buy some physical silver tomorrow. I might have to. Most people are selling their physical silver right now. So you can find a very, very nice selection at your local coin shop, and they'll be very happy to sell to you because they're buying a lot more than they're selling. So most people are selling physical silver right now, even though the price is going up. All right. So we're going to give you guys some more. Let's see. I have to stop the screen share and start a screen share again. Ray Dalio is a billionaire who has been talking about gold for a long time. He studied history, every single currency in the history of the world. And we'll get to the Alex Pretti video. We'll get to the Ilhan Omar video. Every single currency in the history of the world that has gotten to global dominance has eventually failed, including the Romans, including the Dutch, including the British, and now the American empire is coming to an end. A lot of it has to do with Donald Trump, but it was eventually going to happen no matter what, because eventually what governments do is spend more than they have, which we do to the tune of $2 trillion a year extra every single year we spend. And in order to do that, we need to sell our debt, export our debt to the rest of the world. They have to want to buy our dollar-based debt, which is sold in the form of United States treasuries, and they have to see it as attractive. And in order for us to fund our exorbitant lifestyles, living beyond our means, which we've done forever, since at least 1971, well, and before that, that's why we went off the gold standard, is because we couldn't support our social programs while having real money. So we turned it into fake money. The entire economy is based on debt. Banks don't hold your money. Banks don't hold your money. They're not required to hold any of it. When you deposit your money at the bank, they are required to hold at literally 0%. Instead, they create money out of thin air and loan it to people and charge interest on it. Your money in the bank doesn't exist. It is actually insured by the government up to a certain amount. So you'll get it back. I'm not saying you'll lose it, but it actually doesn't exist. Your money would be more real if you had USDC or USDT, where they actually are fully reserved banks. That's crypto, which is what most people get now instead of Bitcoin. They buy actual US dollars. So that's the situation we're in right now. We run deficits and other countries don't like us. That's all. But a lot of it because of Trump. So especially after the Greenland thing and then the tariffs thing, other countries don't like us anymore. We rely on other countries to like us enough to like our money and buy our debt. And now they don't want to do that anymore. And instead of buying our debt, they're going to buy gold, and people are buying gold and the price is up ridiculously. I'll show you a chart. It went over $5,600 for a second. This is just a daily chart. But this is since closing, it was $5,400. Now it's $5,527. If I show you the max chart, it had populate. No. Yes. No. 5 years. 5 years. There you go. That's what's just done recently. That's a 5-year chart. Normally you would think, oh, it's not a good time to buy, but if we are actually revaluing gold, okay. In history, what did we do when we had too much debt? Okay, we've done it twice. I think the video clip I was going to show tells you that. Twice we spent too much money and had to revalue our money, which is gold. Gold is money. It has been forever. Gold is actual money. Everything compared to gold is going down, including the stock market. The stock market hit an all-time high in dollars, but that's only because dollars are going down. Compared to gold, everything is crashing. Compared to gold, we are in deflation right now. We're already probably in a depression right now, is what gold is telling us. In 1933, gold used to be $20. Yes, $20 an ounce fixed, and you could trade a $20 bill for, I think it was $20.67. Then the crash happened. Then the government spent more money than they had, and by that more money than they had gold. In March 1933, they confiscated everybody's gold. They took it back. And people gave it to them. And then they revalued gold at $35. Then in 1971, we were spending too much money again, mostly because of Vietnam and the social programs. And we totally went off the gold standard. We closed the window. We said, you can't redeem your money for gold anymore. And then gold just did whatever it could. So right now we're undergoing another revaluation. Basically a debt default. It's basically a debt default because we have too much debt. We can't sustain it. And instead of sustaining the debt, we're going to devalue our currency. So that's where we're at. It's really happening. And I would say that gold could crash, which it could. But if we're revaluing it, it would revalue, I don't know, I've heard numbers up to like $70,000 an ounce if we really were going to go back to gold. So it has a long way to go still. I'll play you a video clip. Then we'll get to the other news too. I'll play you another video clip. Ray Dalio knows what's going on. Here we go.
There is the loss of confidence in the reserve currency, which drives people to see alternative storeholds of wealth. So, for example, when there's a debt issue, there are two ways of dealing with debt. There's hard money, you're traditionally backed by gold. And when that happened, then there was breakdowns in that monetary system, the valuation. So for example, classically, March 1933, Roosevelt, with the debt problem, was forced to go off the gold standard, printed a lot of money, devalued the dollar, and then it moved on. In 1971, we had the same. Nixon did the same thing, went off the gold standard, and devalued and so on. And the creation of a lot of debt and money means that money goes someplace else, and it traditionally, both of those cases, it went into stocks, gold, and other places. So money is always the holders of money, which are the holders of bonds. Bonds are a promise to receive money, a lot of money over a period of time. It's a very long money position. And when those become unattractive, such as now, let's say, you get zero interest rate or close to zero interest rate or even a negative interest rate. And there's a lot of creation of debt and a lot of printing of money. That drives that into other assets. They may not be another currency if there's not a good currency. They may be stocks, they may be gold, and they may be another currency. But it is that kind of time that we're in. So next year and the year after, no matter what, we're going to have large deficits. We are going to produce a lot of debt, and we will monetize that debt, and that debt will have a negative real return, and therefore people will borrow in it, will find it more advantageous to borrow in it than own it, and then they will move to other assets.
Yeah, that's what happened. He was actually talking then about when we had 0% interest rate. So that's what actually happened. Mostly people bought stocks and real estate, but now they're actually buying something that's real money. They've borrowed money to buy houses, borrowed money to buy stocks, and now we're at the end. Ron Paul says we're going to 20,000. I just got a clip on that. That's where I think we're headed probably. And then silver too. So that's it. That's all the educational content about. Oh no, I have more. I have more about gold and silver. I have more about that. The COMEX, where they trade paper, silver, and gold, is running out of physical metal. So that's going to be a serious event. I believe they call it force majeure, where they're going to tell people that they can't get their silver that they have a contract for. So I'm going to show you a clip showing that. And I think I'll buy silver tomorrow. If you're going to buy silver, pay cash. Get silver eagles and hold on to them. And you might not be able to sell them. Just be aware. When you want to sell them, when the price goes up, you might not be able to. The dealer might be out of money. That could happen because everybody sells when the price goes up.
Very powerful with this. That's why they created it right after we got off the dollar, gold backing. They needed immediately to keep gold suppressed. What happened in 2025 in the silver and the gold markets and the COMEX, again, is meant to be misunderstood. Even if it was on the headlines, you wouldn't want to read it because it's too boring. All it came down to, I'm simplifying dramatically, insulting many of your COMEX experts, is there wasn't enough allocated, segregated post-Basel III gold and silver on these London and New York exchanges for them to even do the shorts they were used to being doing. If you can't short, you can't manipulate the price. Very simply, that means there's actually a hint of free price discovery in gold and silver. So as this debt crisis and currency crisis collided and pushed gold up, the COMEX wasn't there to put it back down again. And that's what was really unique about the price moves in 25. And look, I've been a trader for decades. I've never seen the lease rate in silver, for example, go above 2. It went to 5. The COMEX in the gold market this summer, literally, it's 1% stands for living. It just gets levered and rolled over, levered and rolled over. That's the COMEX. This summer is 100% delivery for gold. The counterparties on the COMEX wanted physical gold. That's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. Again, for those who don't know the COMEX, it doesn't mean anything. But what that signifies is after decades of price fixing, the counterparties would just rather have the gold, again, because they see the rain. They're building their arc. They have to. So what can the COMEX do? And what I think, and the silver markets too, they've tried to manipulate it. They don't have the silver, so now they push up the margin prices. They're trying to come up anyway. Maybe they'll have limit orders. Maybe they'll make it sell only. But what that is saying is they're running out of bullets. And when that happens, and I think, and this is just a theory, is I think they're going to have a failure to delivery on the COMEX and silver. And what that means, again, this is wonky to anyone else. The COMEX is supposed to be able to deliver the counterpart of the silver if they want to take it out. It's not designed for that. It was designed for leverage.
Not designed for a run.
Not for design. And it's like, what's going to happen is going to be a cash settlement only, not an actual delivery. When that happens, that's effectively saying the COMEX has failed. It's what it's contractually obligated to do. That a futures contract is not a contract at all. It's a cash settled bogus contract. That would have a...
There you go. That's what's going to happen. That's why you need some physical, probably. At that point, things get crazy. So it could be that the whole thing like breaks at that point. That's all. And then the price goes... Then the price is no longer stable in any sort. And then it can go up a lot. So that's probably why I'm buying silver tomorrow. Tether is buying a lot of gold. They make a cryptocurrency called Tether, which is worth $1. They've been buying a ton of gold a week. They're saying that we believe there are foreign countries that are buying a lot of gold, and we believe that these countries will soon launch tokenized versions of gold as a competitive currency to the US dollar. So, and like I said, I already own that kind of gold, tokenized gold, which you could just use as currency. So that's your gold and silver stuff. Gold is currently at 55.45 and climbing again. It's up another $200 since yesterday. So we're really it really could be the end. So what we've been talking about for a long time is happening. It didn't happen with Bitcoin. Instead, it's happening with the old stuff, the real stuff, gold and silver. But we told you all along to get silver and Bitcoin. So here is, so Alex Pretti got killed. I said it was an execution. It was pretty much everybody who saw the video said it was the law enforcement fucked up. But the narrative now will shift because he was some kind of violent protester who spit at and kicked at officers. So I will show you that video.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36th and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away. The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Pretti was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
Let's see. I don't know what the rest of the video shows.
Here, he continues to stand at the scene. On the day he was killed, the Department of Homeland Security claims Pretti, a 37-year-old ICU nurse, approached officers holding a handgun. That claim has been contradicted by analysis of bystander videos from multiple news investigations, which concluded that Pretti was holding a phone, not a gun, when he was pinned to the street.
Bob Ross, Antichrist, says, I wish we all just got along. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. Well, they didn't kill him that time. They didn't need to. They didn't need to kill him when they killed him either. So it's all, but this gives fodder to people who thinks, like somebody in the chat said, suicide by cop. He certainly didn't deserve to die. There's just no reason to kill people for not being a threat. But he was obviously a troublemaker, and they could have arrested him for what he was doing there. And I guess they chose not to. Then there was another story about his ribs getting broken in a previous event. Obviously, he was a protester. Obviously, he didn't like ICE. You're allowed to be a protester, but you're not allowed to be violent and kick vehicles and so forth. So he shouldn't have done that. In no matter what case you're looking at, that's not a death sentence. He didn't ask or deserve to be killed. And it just gives ammunition now for both sides. And I see people saying, fuck around and find out. Well, he wasn't being violent in the scene where he was killed. He was maybe being provocative, but not violent. So it doesn't change my feelings about the unrighteousness of the killing. But it just gives ammunition, gets us a little bit closer to civil war. So we have that video now, which shows that he was a bad kind of protester. But once again, he walked away from that one. He could have walked away from the other one. The cops were obviously the aggressor. So he wasn't out there trying to get himself killed or martyred or anything. He was just being a little bit rough. So here's Ilhan Omar getting attacked. Kind of. Some people, the president says it's fake. There's a picture that really could be AI that I saw somebody share. I'll show. He had a black girlfriend at one point. That's true. Somebody showed an image. This might be fake, but I'll show you the attack. And I'll show you the conspiracy theories. Here she is being attacked with apple cider vinegar, which is a life-extending elixir. A life-extending elixir, apple cider vinegar. I drink a couple shots a day. It's very good for you. It's a harsh taste, but it's very good for you. The guy brags apple cider vinegar, that guy, he believed it extended your life. And he died in a surfing accident when he was like 85 years old. So maybe it did. So I drink that stuff. Here she is getting attacked. So
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Well, let me show you again. I like the part where she charges him. Oh, there. That was the spray. He has like a syringe. Spray. Here, spray. In the chest. And she charges him. I think that's kind of based that she charged him.
I don't know.
I don't like Ilhan Omar or anything, but it was kind of based that she charged him.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
And then she continued speaking. Donald Trump said, he was quoted as saying, someone said, she just spoke with President Trump, asked if he had seen the video of her being attacked and sprayed. Quote, no, I don't think about her. I think she's a fraud. I really don't think about that. She probably had herself sprayed, knowing her. And then the person asked if he had seen the video. He said, I haven't seen it. No, I hope I don't have to bother. People have looked into his history. I saw it. His history is that he's had a few DUIs. He dated a black girl who broke up with him. He then posted a number of racist things on social media, saying that blacks are animals and some things about Somalis and something about Ilhan Omar. So there is some kind of social media trail indicating that he might be really the person who did that. He had been divorced twice. His daughter was locked up for 5150 or something. One of his daughters might have been trans. He seemed like he was having a tough life. Twice divorced, couple DUIs, had a black girlfriend who broke up with him. Then he became racist. And so that's his history, at least as far as what I saw. So it sounds kind of legit, but people are posting things like this, which is supposedly a photo of them together. But I think it's probably AI. I think it's probably AI. Oh, where'd it go? That's weird. He was once married to a black woman. Oh, yeah. Here's the image again of him with, but that's given that she's wearing exactly the same outfit and he's wearing something a little bit different. I'm guessing that's AI, but who knows? He was once married to a Patrice Kazmierzak. They divorced. His ex-wife, Patrice, is a political activist and a big supporter of Ilhan Omar and AOC. But maybe that's where he got it, is because his wife, he ended up not liking his wife, who was black, apparently. So that's the story. I'm not going to say it was staged. I'm not going down that road yet. We'll need more evidence. Seems like he has a legit history to be somebody who would do that. But why did she spray him with apple cider vinegar, a life-extending elixir? I'm not sure. Synthetic. Hey, what's up? Says, I'd like to believe that photo is legit. I want to believe. Yeah, well, that's what news is about these days. You have to want to believe. So here's what Randy Fine, that wonderful congressman, said about it.
I got to start out with your reaction to the attack on Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. I mean, obviously, we often agree with her politics, but this is just not acceptable at any level.
Well, I've got two thoughts. First, look, I want Ilhan Omar to be deported and denaturalized, but I don't want her to be attacked or hurt, and people shouldn't do this sort of thing. But I also blame Ilhan Omar for what happened. When they describe people throwing articles at law enforcement, at officers of the federal government as peaceful protesters, they can't be surprised when crazy people start to do that to them. Attacking a representative of the federal government, whether it's a congresswoman or law enforcement, is not peaceful, and we need to start saying that.
Yeah.
Yes,
I got to start out.
Did she bring it on herself? I don't know if she recommended. Not sure that she recommended attacking law enforcement. People blame the rhetoric on everything. Here's a guy saying that they're going to hunt down ICE like Nazis. This might be escalated rhetoric here.
This is
Left
a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are. In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice.
There you go. So there's somebody saying they're saying that's bad rhetoric too. Hunt down Nazis. Actually, this liberal Ed Krasenstein is saying it's great. So we're headed there. So what Ray Dalio predicts, I was just reading his treatise on this, is around the time of the end of an empire, when the money collapses and gets replaced by something else, you have civil wars and you have wars. And you have populists on both sides. And people are intransigent. They don't want to talk to each other. They get dug into their own political positions. And like I said, you have populists on both sides and nobody agrees. So you get Donald Trump, you get AOC, you get Bernie Sanders, you get Ilhan Omar, you get the communist in New York. Mamdani. Populists. Some more stuff about immigration. Tom Tillis. There are some Congress senators saying we need to get rid of Noam and Stephen Miller, which I agree with 100%. If they hadn't fucked up the immigration thing, see, there's a lot of blame to go around. That's all. There's blame to go around. I understand the protesters because I've seen what ICE does, and they operate illegally. Much of what they're doing is unlawful according to our Constitution. People aren't being given due process. They're knocking on doors where they don't even know that, where they're just going around asking people randomly for ID because they're not white or they have an accent, which is not constitutional. They're taking people who are legally here, legal immigrants, not criminals, putting them in detention facilities. I don't know if they're torturing them or not, but I'm not sure the conditions are that nice. They're just trying to find reasons to get rid of legal immigrants, which isn't the way things are supposed to go. And then they're constantly threatening people who aren't breaking the law, like people who are following them and filming them, which is lawful. So I understand why people are upset. I'm not for protesting to save bad illegal immigrants, which I guess is what they're doing to some extent. I'm not for that. I'm not for communists. I know communists are funding this stuff, and we're going to have a general strike on Friday, which is a communist tactic. Friday, there's going to be a general strike. No school, no work, no shopping. And there are famous people agreeing with it. So that's going to be this Friday, the 30th. We'll have a general strike, a communist tactic to withdraw your participation in the capitalist system as a way to make change, which is fair. I mean, it's a fair tactic if you really believe in it. We're going to have a government shutdown the same day, which I think is also fair. If they want to change ICE tactics, which I think is fair. I think it's fair to want to change ICE tactics. That's how I feel about it. So I'm on both sides, as usual. We killed 2 people we didn't need to kill. And Stephen Miller is insane. And Kristi Noem is insane. Here is Tom Tillis saying he was called a loser.
They're discrediting what I consider to be a very well-organized. These officers, they're going to make their job more difficult and more dangerous with this incompetence that I'm seeing out of Noem and out of Stephen Miller.
The president called you a loser, I believe.
I am thrilled about that. That makes me qualified to be Homeland Security Secretary and Senior Advisor to the President.
There you go. So Trump called him a loser. He's like, oh, that could be Kristi Noem or Stephen Miller. Lindsey Graham likes Stephen Miller, I guess. Stephen Miller wants us to do all the war stuff too. Stephen Miller is the one pushing Donald Trump to the extremes. It was his wife who posted the picture of Greenland with the American flag. It's him who wants us to be bullies. It's him who wants us to go to war with Iran the most, which is apparently maybe going to happen very soon. But here's Lindsey Graham talking about getting rid of Stephen Miller.
As to Stephen Miller, to my colleagues who believe that you can convince Donald Trump that Stephen Miller is a liability for him, good luck with that. When this clock strikes 12 on the Trump era, there'll be a few people walking out the door with Donald Trump. Stephen Miller will be in that group. So I want everybody to know on the Republican side that Stephen Miller is not the problem. Sanctuary cities is the problem. As to Stephen Miller.
Interesting. Stephen Miller is not the problem. No, I think Stephen Miller is definitely the problem. He's the one who told Kristi Noem, or is it Kristi, whatever her name is, to say the thing about the guy being an assassin. And he was the one who said the most inflammatory thing about the guy, saying he was an assassin there to massacre police, which everybody disagreed with once they saw the video. He was the one behind that. Kristi Noem came out and said that she has only been following orders of the president and Stephen Miller. So most of the immigration policy, Stephen Miller gets on the phone and yells at DHS and ICE and everybody every day, apparently, asking them to do more arrests because they have a 3,000 a day arrest quota, whether they're Americans, whether they're immigrants, or what have you. Here's what Eric Prince calls for, which I think is probably dangerous. Libertarians who are upset about ICE, people like the Health Ranger, people like Dave Smith, people like me, are concerned that if this is how federal agents are allowed to behave under Donald Trump, then how might they be allowed to behave under somebody else? Because if we're allowing federal agents to break the law, to cancel the Constitution in order to deport people that we don't like, then what's going to happen when somebody else is in charge? What are we going to say then? So Eric Prince says that we should seize their bank accounts.
The other thing I would add to what Mike was saying, all his good points, is to go after the banking of anybody that's here illegally. You can sick the compliance officers of all these banks. Instead of them going after American citizens, they can actually debank, and they can be incentivized to do so. That the bank either pays an enormous fine for banking illegals, or they seize those accounts, alert DHS, and the money, part of that money that's been here accumulated while working illegally, can be repatriated to those people once they're back in the country after they pay an exit tax for leaving the United States. These are the things, the whole of government things that the president must do if he's going to hit the kind of numbers that he campaigned on, that we need to do to preserve our republic. The other thing I would add to what
I think, so basically what Stephen Miller thinks and what Eric Prince obviously thinks is that in order to preserve our republic, we need to get rid of foreigners because they vote for Democrats. In my opinion, we can win over foreigners or people who aren't white, I guess that's the other word for it, with arguments. And Donald Trump, I think, proved that by starting to win over non-white voters in the last election. So I think all of this focus, especially authoritarian focus, on forcibly removing trying to change the demographics of America in order to save the republic, which just means basically we need more white people. I think that's dangerous, first of all, because of the way it's being implemented is so inhumane. And it makes us lose more. Like now, like the last election, Hispanics voted more for Trump, but now they don't like Trump anymore. So why is that? You know, if the arguments are good and people come to America and they like America, convince them that America is good. Convince them the way Trump did the last election. More blacks voted for Trump last election. More Hispanics voted for Trump last election. More young people voted for Trump. Otherwise, we'd have to eliminate young people, because young people really that hate Trump and that hate Republicans now who voted for him last time. So anyway, seizing banks, I don't agree with. Getting rid of benefits is good. Getting rid of benefits is good. People who aren't Americans shouldn't get benefits. They should have to work and pay taxes at a minimum. Then you can go after employers, which Trump just doesn't want to do. That's the truth. Like, they just don't want to do it. They don't want to get rid of illegal immigrants. Trump said he doesn't want to. So, I mean, like, rather than the performative cruelty, all this march towards civil war, try a way that's more humane, or admit that you don't even want to get rid of him in the first place. We haven't even done that many deportations. And people hate ICE. They don't need to be paid to be there. People genuinely hate ICE. They don't want them there. It doesn't matter what. I don't think it matters what. You can't just blame the elected officials and say that people wouldn't do it if Waltz didn't tell them to. I think they still would. There's plenty of good reasons to hate ICE at this point. But I think freezing bank accounts is probably a step too far. And more reason to have money outside of the system. More reason to have physical silver. And if you want to have cryptocurrency, Monero. That's what I think. If I'm going to get cryptocurrency, I'm just going to get Monero from now on. They're about to tax the crap out of crypto people. I can tell you guys about that too. The government, they did execute search warrants in Georgia. So they are going after the stolen election, the theoretical stolen election in 2020. Hasn't been proven yet. That's why I have to say it's theoretical. Fulton County, Georgia was raided by the FBI looking for votes. So there was some talk about fake stacks of votes. I think they're in Fulton, Georgia. So if they're actually going to find it, that will that's what people voted for. I can definitely say that. People definitely voted for that. They voted for that a lot more than they voted for war with Iran, war with Venezuela, war with Cuba, war with Greenland. So that is something that will be pleasing. So I'm interested in what they find. FBI executes search warrant in Fulton County, Georgia. All right. So here's Trump on Iran. This is serious. This is not hyperbole. It looks like we're going to strike Iran. That's what we're preparing to do. Trump said a massive armada is headed to Iran. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln, then was sent to Venezuela. Like with Venezuela, it is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with speed and violence if necessary. Hopefully, Iran will quickly come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal. No nuclear weapons. One that is good for all parties. Time is running out. It is truly of the essence. As I told Iran once before, make a deal. They didn't, and there was Operation Midnight Hammer, a major destruction of Iran. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It is ironic that we're warning them again about nuclear weapons when they didn't have nuclear weapons to begin with. When Tulsi Gabbard said they aren't trying to get nuclear weapons. And apparently we eliminated their nuclear weapon program with the last strike. Apparently we completely demolished their nuclear weapon program. So I don't know what happened to that. If we completely demolished it last time, why are we there a few months later, ready to strike again? I'll show you the demands. There's a report that Axios is saying Trump is going to give Iran a 24-hour ultimatum to give up its nuclear and ballistic program, which they're not going to do. They want to enrich uranium and they want to have weapons, and they certainly have a right as a sovereign country to be able to defend themselves. But we are demanding on behalf of, we don't care. We are demanding on behalf of Israel that they no longer have any nuclear enrichment of any kind. Here's the demands, according to the New York Times. Permanent end to all enrichment of uranium. limits on the range and number of long-range ballistic missiles maintained by the IRGC, end to all support for proxy groups in the Middle East, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis in Yemen. So there's that. That's their demands, which apparently Iran has already told them they're not going to do. They're not going to give up enrichment, because why would they? The only defense you have against the criminals that run our government is to have nuclear weapons, like Kim Jong-un, or Il, whichever one it is now. Prove that you get nuclear weapons and we stop bothering you. So why would you give up enriching uranium? The senior political advisor to the Iranian supreme leader said that any idea of a limited strike against Iran is an illusion and will be considered the start of a war, and the response will be immediate, all out, and unprecedented, targeting the heart of Tel Aviv and all supporters of the aggressor. So Iran is being very threatening. They say if they're struck in any way, they will launch an all-out war against everybody, especially Israel. So be ready for that. Apparently, Al Jazeera is reporting that Saudi Arabia is not going to allow the use of its airspace for an attack on Iran. So there are countries that don't want us to strike Iran. Apparently, Saudi Arabia is one of them. So I don't know what this does. Saudi Arabia bars use of airspace for attacks on Iran, they're saying. So very close now. We can look at the odds. Khomeini. Let's see. The odds that Khomeini is going to be out are up again. They're up to 62%. 62 cents that the Ali Khamenei would be out. I'll show you the chart, which isn't that helpful. He's the yellow line? No, he's not any of those lines. That's not helpful at all. More markets. Khomeini graph. There, that's the graph. So odds are going up again that Khomeini is going to be out before the end of this year. There are some odds that it'll be out by the end of this month too. So we are looking to strike Iran. I think it's probably, it sounds like maybe it's going to happen this time. Then I have more economic news. Bonds are no longer a safe hedge, says BlackRock. That's why people are buying gold. There's an argument that the dollar going down is good. There's an argument. The Fed had their rate announcement today. They didn't cut rates, and they aren't indicating that they're planning to cut rates. But inflation, I've been talking about deflation possibly coming. We are experiencing deflation in terms of gold very, very fast. Apparently, this measure of inflation is crashing quickly, which is an indication maybe we're going into a depression. That's all. So, and then I have one more chart of stocks. This is the highest they've been since the dot-com bubble in terms of the Case-Shiller index, which says how expensive stocks are. I would be prepared for a stock crash. If you have a 401k, I would just, I don't know, I'd get some gold, basically, if you can. If you haven't already, rather than stocks. Stocks might still go up, but very precarious. There is some news out of New York City that they have a fiscal crisis, which most cities are going to have. So people are making fun of Mamdani. He said he's going to tax.
We are speaking about a fiscal crisis at the scale greater than the Great Recession. And so there will not be one single thing that can answer that crisis. It will require us to pursue every single avenue. That means looking inward into savings and efficiencies. That also means raising taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations. And it means recalibrating the relationship with the state. We are speaking about a fiscal crisis.
So now he doesn't have any money, so he can't do any of the socialist things he wants. All the rich people will leave, and corporations will just leave because they're able to do that rather than pay the taxes. So he is going to be totally screwed. Apparently, he's got a $10 billion budget deficit inherited from Eric Adams. Eric Adams says it's not true, but that's what Mamdani is saying. So good luck with socialism in New York City. Jewel Lightheart, you've been talking much about, have you been the one talking mostly about donuts? We should have a donut inflation chart. I have cookies with coffee. They're expensive though. Gold is going down right now. Gold is going down at this moment, but it's still over $5,500. We'll check silver. Hopefully silver goes down, because if I want to buy some tomorrow, it'd be good if it's down. People have plenty of silver. I called my silver dealer. He said he has plenty of what I want, which normally he doesn't have. Silver is still up. It's going down a little bit. It's at 117. All right. So that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, somebody asked about calls. You want to call in, Jim? We can open the phone. We can open the phone for fun. Jim asked if I was taking calls. Maybe he wants to call. I can operate that technology. Sign in. Sign in. All right, Jim, you can call if you want. Anybody can call if they want. We'll give it a chance. We have less than 100 people tuned in. Usually that's not enough for somebody to call. But I can. Oh, well, that was fast. Hey, you're on the air. Hey, man. Welcome to the show. Yeah, maybe something like that. Mm-hmm. Oh, somebody says they can't hear you. Somebody says they can't hear you. So I'm going to fix that. I don't know why. Oh, it shows the thing. It shows that they should. I'm going to try one more time. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now they should be able to hear you.
All right. Can they hear me?
Give us a 5x5 in the chat. You should be able to hear him now.
Hello.
Go ahead. Start over from the beginning, Jim.
So anyway, yeah. So it is pretty bad looking with the depression type thing that might be coming, but let's hope not. I mean, what are we in now? So like, is this like the prototype of the depression?
This is the beginning of the end. We're in the beginning of the end right now. We're transitioning toward the end, but now
so
it's still the beginning.
Past the prototype, so we're at the beginning then.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I anyway, I was gonna say, my friend Liz, I don't know if you know her, she's Australian.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to do a GoFundMe for me because I'm going through some financial crap myself with my dad dying, and the transition has been a mess, and I think there's some debts we got to pay off, and God knows what. I mean, I don't know. I'll have my brother do that, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
okay,
anyway,
if you have a GoFundMe, we'll promote it. We know you're a good person. You've been calling into this show a lot. And if you have some financial difficulties, then if you set that up, I'll go ahead and promote that for you, Jim.
Well, it's a Give, Send, Go that Liz opened up. Like I told her I didn't want to do it, but she was like, no, I want to do it. So I was okay. I was like, all right, well, yeah.
Okay. Do you have the details about it, Jim?
I can get you the link if you want.
Yeah. Go.
I don't know if
you're welcome.
Can I drop it in the chat or something?
Yeah, if you can. Yes. Are you a mod in the chat?
No, I don't know.
If you're not a mod, it might be hard to drop a link, but you can try. If you do, I'll promote it.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Nate.
Yeah.
I'll get the link and just drop it in whenever. Anyway, thanks for taking my call, brother.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, man. Sorry you're going through some stuff right now.
Yeah, it happens, and hopefully I'll stay above water, you know?
Yeah, I hope so too.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
All right, Jim.
See ya.
See ya. Jim has MS. And it sounds like he's going through some financial things. So we will see if he drops the link. If he does, then I can add it to the description for the show. So if you're looking for that after the fact, look in the description for the show. I'll try to add it to the top of the description if I can get the link. So I'm waiting. Anybody else can call in too if you want. 650-429-8294. That's 650-GAY-TAXI. But I don't expect we might not get any more calls. We don't have as many people tuning in as we used to. Yeah, go ahead, Liz. You can drop it if you can. Here, let me. I might have to make you a mod. Oops, somebody's calling. Hey, you're on the air.
Great. This is Carly Todd.
Hey, Carly, what's up?
And hey, well, I just want to drop in and say I've been kind of on and off watching you. Obviously, you had the moment where you were unavailable due to the big guys, you know, putting you down. I think it had something to do with the Sandy Hook stuff. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's how I found you, because I, even from the moment that story came out, even I thought that was a really ridiculous, like, the thing that the news put on was absolutely ridiculous. It didn't make any sense to me. And I didn't even look into it until years later when I started investigating more about like 9/11, getting into quote unquote conspiracy theories. So I just thought I'd drop in and tell you I've been an appreciator of your work and everything that you do for quite a while. I think that you should keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
You're also, of course. And I hope you don't feel too alone at times in your struggles with the quote unquote mental illness thing. A lot of us are not really getting help from the medical industry, therapists, etc. I deal with my own issues. And last year, I also had a pretty traumatic event where I tried something, and I'm glad it didn't work. But you're not the only one struggling. And I hope that in those times where you do feel distraught or hopeless or out of your mind, that you remember you're not alone. It helps you to recenter and ground yourself, man, because this is a fight that we are all fighting. It does get very, very stressful, especially when you're just getting put down all the time. No one's letting you talk about anything. You're being discredited or whatever it is. So anyways, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I think you're doing God's work out here, man.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And I feel a lot better. I had a very difficult year last year.
I understand. You do seem a lot better.
These days I feel pretty stable and I'm getting through day to day pretty well. So I appreciate it. And if you see me doing my show, that means I have I feel well enough to do my show. So every time you see me, I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Well, those times we don't see you, we're going to try not to worry, but you're in our boat. You're on our side. So yeah, just don't forget that, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really
have a good night.
You. Thanks very much. Appreciate you. Thanks.
Take care, man.
See ya. That's nice. Thanks. That's nice. Yes, I had a very difficult year last year, but feeling well enough. Didn't want to do my show for a long time. So I didn't do my show. The channel was banned because of COVID, because of the vaccine. That's why the channel was banned. Okay, so we have the Give, Send, Go. It's pinned to the chat for Be More Busker. I am adding it to my video description right now. Donate to Jim from Baltimore. And there it is. Give, send, go. Okay. I put that at the top, and I now just have to say save. So if you're watching the video after the fact, you remember Jim. He's been our most frequent caller to the show. Thanks, Pinball Poet. Appreciate you. Oh, somebody else is calling. Wow, that's crazy. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's
did you
up?
get that stuff put in the? I didn't want to interrupt you when you were trying to do that.
Yeah, I got it in. All good.
All right. Hey, you said you called your silver dealer. What is it that you buy?
American Eagles.
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe this is a good question. Like, what's the difference between like a maple and an eagle, for instance? Aren't they the same thing?
Yes, they are the same. They're just it's just that if you want to sell, the most in demand form of metal is American metal, at least in America. So if you want to sell to a local dealer, when it comes time to sell, you're going to get the best price for American silver eagles, gold eagles, or American gold money. So that's why when I went to sell, the thing that sold the best was my American Eagles. So
yeah, makes sense because they're pure and they weigh a full 31.1 grams or something, right? So
yeah, they're specific, they're stamped, everybody recognizes them. You pay more for them, but the problem is when the price goes up, everybody sells. So right now, all the dealers, they might be they might not even be able to buy your silver right now. But if they buy anything and they buy it close to spot, it would be American Silver Eagles. So that's what I'm looking for.
You know, I was watching a YouTube video today and it's talking about this guy called 10 different shops, like coin shops. And some of them are so busy they couldn't even take his call, but he was talking to them about the silver situation. And what's happening with a lot of them is they're actually running out of money to even buy from people.
I've been warning people about that. Yeah, that's the problem with physical silver or gold is that when you want to sell it, you might not be able to. So you just have to be ready to hold on to it basically. Because they just run out of money. And then if they're going to buy, they'll buy it for a lower price. So it's really a difficult situation because of that. But I think that the COMEX situation that everybody's been talking about for a long time, where they're actually going to run out of physical silver, may actually happen. So I want to have some physical. I think so. I think I'm going to buy some tomorrow finally, even though it might be paying too much for it. And the price might crash. It might temporarily. I don't think it's going to crash for long. That's all. So I have digital, I have digital gold, which I believe in, I have mostly gold right now. But I'd like to have something physical in case this crazy thing happens, because it could revalue silver to something. It could just jump in price. It could go straight to $200 in a day if they run out on the exchanges. So I want to be prepared for that.
I was learning today from somebody, they were talking about longs and shorts and stuff like that. And I still don't feel like I completely understand it all, but it sounded like to me, it was almost like a casino where not only can you own physical gold and silver, but then you got people betting on whether or not it'll succeed or fail in a day or longer.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy to me.
Yeah.
But I think if you did a episode sometime, just talking about stuff like that, because what might make sense and to you, to people like me that don't really know a lot about candles and shorting and longs, and it's just interesting, I think, to learn about that sort of stuff. But, I think it's really fun.
Well, I try to throw in as much useful information as I can. I've been telling people the kind of silver to buy, and also that it might be difficult to sell because I went through it myself. So When I went to sell, the price was up. The guy was like, the price was up, but it was a lot lower than it is now. And the guy was like, well, everybody's selling now, so you can't get the good price. And I was like, so owning physical, like, isn't that great if you want in a lot of ways. But I'd still like to have something physical. So
what's your opinion on like constitutional things like a Morgan dollar or a peace dollar?
those are good. And
yeah, because they're
any American money is good. Those are really good. Those are solid. Like, yeah, definitely. They pay pretty good money for those.
I've been buying those because it seems like the poor man's silver eagle, because they weigh just a little bit less and they're 90% instead of
right
0.9 to 0.999.
Right, exactly. They're just not pure silver, but old American money is good. And those sell for more than like junk silver. It's like silver dollars are good, and then half dollars are good, and then quarters are less desirable, and dimes are less desirable. As far as like selling it.
Huh?
That, from what I understand from the dealers. I mean, I got the same thing for dimes and quarters, but I got a little bit more for half dollars, just a little bit.
I do like the half dollars. They feel good in your hand. Because the Eagles, and they're a little, they just feel kind of clunky and big, and they just don't feel real. I know they're real, but there's something about them. They're kind of like obnoxiously large. But then Morgan dollars and peace dollars are big, yet they feel good. And the half dollars. So do you carry a piece of silver in your pocket?
No, sir. I wouldn't want to do that.
Oh, well, I started doing that because some of the people in the community, the silver community, they talk about like a pocket piece or whatever.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, like a half dollar would be cool to carry around, I guess, as long as nothing falls out of your quarter, as long as nothing falls out of your pocket.
Yeah, right. Well, that happened to me the other day. I took a nap and it had fallen out of my pocket when I was sleeping. But at any rate, yeah, it's just something to kind of remind you, you know. And Harvey Two-Face did that too. I actually bought one of the replicas of the keys as a peace dollar, and that.
Oh yeah. I like the money that I used to collect coins. I like American money is really beautiful, a lot of it. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, some of them are great. Like those old Walking Liberty quarters are really beautiful. I used to collect old pennies, like the Flying Eagle pennies. Those are probably like $100 each or something for good ones.
Oh wow, I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
Yeah, that's a nice early penny. They're nice Flying Eagle pennies. They're really nice. Old American money is really nice. It's always scarce. It's always limited. It's always in demand. And there'll never be more of it. So collecting coins is cool too. It's just that if you want like the sheer value or whatever, just pure silver is, you know.
Yeah, but see, that's not something I really understood when I first started getting into this. And by mistake, I bought all this bullion that I have when silver was really, really low, like when it dipped about, I don't know, almost 10 years ago or whatever. It was down in the 25 region or whatever. I bought most of my actual bullion then. And,
so it's
really
so it's not like it's, but when you say bullion, it's like bars and stuff, or just like silver rounds.
Yeah, like the little, like the ingots and rounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's harder to sell.
And well, but it's pure, you know.
Yeah, it's good. They just might have to like test it, and like it's just not as recognizable and stuff. And they'll probably just sell it for it to be melted down. So,
but since I already had that stuff, I'm glad that now that silver's high, I'm just getting like the constitutional silver and coins, which are a little bit cheaper. So it's like, whoa. And then what I have, of course, you said it's hard to sell, but what I have, you know, is like inflated like to 4.5K or something like that, you know, total.
Yeah, that's great. I wish I had all my silver that I had. I sold it for way less.
Build up, dude. I think, but see, this experience is reminding me like how you guys would talk about crypto, because it's just like no matter what the price is, I just go ahead and buy more silver anyway. Because I'm like, I'll go to bed, dude, and I'll wake up and it'll be fucking $200 higher than it was when I went to bed. I'm like,
Yep.
So
yeah, it's really pumping now. I mean, it really might. This really might be it. It's too bad that Bitcoin isn't participating. But
well, do you think there's a relationship then between the USD and Bitcoin, because they're both going down as gold and silver are going up? It's kind of the same trend almost.
people have started. The problem with Bitcoin is people regard it as a risk asset. That's the only problem. So it's just, for some reason, it's not been viewed as a safe haven asset, really. So while it was really good for a long time at protecting against inflation and going up and stuff, it's just that ever since Wall Street got involved and everything else, it just hasn't performed the same. So it seems like now people are turning to gold, and now you can tokenize gold. So you can have cryptocurrency. You still have cryptocurrency and own gold, and it's pretty real. So
now, see, I feel like Bitcoin should have done that originally, and if they had, I think it would be more successful now.
You mean if it was hooked to something real like gold? You mean if it was actual?
Or just all the metals in general, like, you know, maybe not just one, but any of them, I guess.
Well, what's great about it is that you don't need to move anything. You don't need anything physical. I mean, it's perfect if people want it. So we'll see what happens to it long term. But
well, I just feel like that would have added to its utility, because if you could have basically had like a metals market that was on a blockchain, then you wouldn't really have to transfer the metal physically.
Well, now they do. Now they do. You can get PAX G. You can just get
That's
PAX G.
Like, so it was kind of short-sighted of Bitcoin not to do that.
Well, no, it wasn't. They invented the technology, but now the technology, the thing is now that the technology can tokenize everything, the banks are embracing it. They tokenized dollars. People are embracing that. And now they tokenized gold too. And eventually they'll tokenize silver too. So,
oh, I see. So it's like retroactively being applied to assets.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And they're going to tokenize real estate too.
Yeah, the tokenization of everything, right?
Yeah, they're going to tokenize everything will be on the blockchain. I mean, so Bitcoin succeeded in creating a totally digital future. And my shirts say crypto future. I mean, everything is going to be blockchain because it's a great technology. So Bitcoin succeeded. It's just that now, you know,
that's really, they don't do good job of marketing stuff like that though, because I think that's lost on the common person though, to understand like really they're going to be using that as the backbone for everything. Because a lot of times it's hard to, like when you're talking to people, they can't always really give you good case study scenarios, you know, or use case, what is it they call it? Case use or
use case
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would help for some people to understand it a little bit better, at least, because sometimes it's hard to understand that use case.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right now there is a currency that exists that lets you transact with another person in something like gold, something that's backed by gold, which is PAX G. So,
and see where I like that is that you can buy fractions of it then.
Yes, exactly.
And be more affordable, because gold obviously is so expensive. And, you know, like Peter Schiff said, there's no floor on the dollar, so there's no ceiling on gold.
There is no ceiling. No, Ron Paul is saying it's going to 20K. So, and I think so. I think it'll get there for sure.
Dude, that almost makes me nauseous to think about. I mean, because what it really means is like a loss of faith in the currency.
Yep. Yep.
It's not like I'm speculating on some other asset and just getting rich and lucky. It's like, if I actually don't want to be too successful, because that might mean the end of things as we know it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. So it's not, it's like, it's good, but it's bad at the same time. That silver has gone up so much and that gold has gone up so much.
Well, thanks for chatting with me, man.
Okay.
I hope you found some silver tomorrow. Thanks for educating me a little bit.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
Farewell.
All right, see ya. Yeah, the other problem with crypto is they're about to come after. You used to be able to do it without them taxing you by moving your money to wallets that weren't connected to your identity. But now the government is tracking that, and they're going to tax people, and I'll probably get taxed retroactively. myself. So that's why if I'm going to get cryptocurrency, I'm probably going to buy Monero, which is invisible to the government and is the original promise of cryptocurrency. The government is about to go after people, probably retroactively, like it, because they're making the thing is you could have a wallet that's not connected to your identity that you trade in and that you don't tell the government about. But now they're making central exchanges. If you ever, the only way to get anything to a decentralized wallet is first to buy something on a centralized exchange. And in 2026, they're making the centralized exchange report your wallet address that you send your cryptocurrency to. So then they have that address and they'll probably watch what you do in that address and tax you for it. So if I buy cryptocurrency from now on, it will be Monero, and I have some Monero because it doesn't exist. You can't see it. So that's something else that's bad that's happening. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Good talking to you guys. If you want to know how to buy PAX-G, you can just ask. You should just ask your local AI about it. Oh, let me check my coffees. Or if you need assistance with cryptocurrency, you can text me at 650-429-8294, 650-GAY taxi, and I can consult with you for a fee, like I used to do. But it's unnecessary. You could probably ask AI how to do it, how to buy PAX-G, but you can buy it. Julie Lightheart bought a coffee, who said, I wanted to buy you donuts to go with your coffee, but nobody knew how much they were because the US has dropped so much against mine. You get 2 cups this week. Thank you. Much love, Nathan, and thank you for the shows. Thanks, Jewel Lightheart. Yes, cookies in this case. I was buying coffees last week, I think. Latoya Carroll bought a coffee. Says you've been rightfully predicting the collapse of the dollar for many years for many reasons, but now that it's all happening, it's all Trump's fault. Make it make sense. It's not all Trump's fault. Sorry. It's not all his fault. He's just an accelerationist. He's just an accelerationist. He's just made it faster. That's all. By tariffs and threats. He just made it faster, but it was guaranteed to happen. It's not all his fault. He's just unlucky to be president when it happens. That's all. He'll just get the blame. But he did accelerate it. Him and Stephen Miller and all the stuff they've been doing accelerated it. But thank you for that. It's not all Trump's fault. No. It's not all Trump's fault. It's just happening while he happened to be president. So thanks for that. Thanks for the coffee. I appreciate it. We still like Trump somehow, some ways. All right. See you guys tomorrow. We'll be back 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Lift the Veil show. For now, that's what it is.